I know most of you are interested in the Boer goats, the Kalahari Red, the Savannah, basically those big goats. But when we mention the price to you, you cannot afford it. And today I want to take you out right onto the board and show you guys how exactly we are making the Boer goat and Kalahari Red cheaper so that every Ghanaian can get access to some. So come along with me, let's go to the board and talk a little bit more about how we can make this happening, because this needs to happen. I know most of you are curious about, are we gonna eat these goats? Are we gonna sell them to breeders? What is the purpose of actually owning these exotic goats? And if you come to our farm, we are a breeding stock farm. So everything we're doing here is basically for breeding. And if you're gonna breed, how do we spread these goats around? Since majority of you, the biggest burden or the biggest question you have is affordability. How can you afford these goats? Welcome to Farming in Africa, and if today is the first time you're watching any video from myself or any of my team members, you're welcome to the family. And if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the button below, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so that anytime we release any video about livestock farming or anything in the value chain, you are informed and you can come here and watch. On this channel, we educate people, we inspire you, and we teach you the right ways that we have proven and have agreed on so that you don't have to repeat the same mistakes that we have done in the past. And together, hopefully, we can all revolutionize the livestock industry. So today we're talking about goats, and we're talking about how do we spread these exotic goats that everybody wants at a less price. So at the moment, we're talking about the Boer goat, right? 2, we have the Kalahari, right? And then 3, we have the Savannah goat. And these are the goats that are available to us at the moment. But locally, so these goats can go all the way, sometime from $1,000. I have a goat here that was actually about $3,000. Right? These are breeding goats. So most of you, the question you ask is, I cannot afford these goats. How do I get it? How do I get to buy one of these goats? Because I cannot afford 1,000 or 3,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 goat. What do we have available to us? So in West Africa, we have the Sahelian goat. Sahelian goat. Then we have 2, the West African dwarfs. Right, I think that's all we have. In Kenya, they have the Nubian and I think the Gala. Here, this is the only 2 goats that we have. So we're bringing these goats in order to improve the genetics of these goats. How do we do that? And how can we make these goats available to us? So if I pick a Boer goat, a BG, and I cross that goat with another Boer goat, which is a male and a female, I get a Boer goat, which is the kid, whether, you know, plus or minus female or male. That's a pure breed. That doesn't change the price, right? The price is still the same. Now, the question is, how do we get our Boer goats and Kalaharis to cross these goats so that their offspring can be cheaper? And the way we do that, we have 2 ways we can do that. So I'm gonna do breeding here. So one is the natural way of breeding. So what do I mean by the natural way of breeding? So you can have your females in one pen. Goats come on heat once every, 1 month, let's say, once every 1 month. So once they're on heat, you can introduce your male in there and that male will cross all of them, right? And they will get pregnant. Once they give birth, If you cross a West African to a West African, you get a West African breed. If you cross a West African with a Boer goat, then you get a mixed breed of 50-50. Most of the time, the challenge here for us is that if we try to do a Boer goat plus a West African dwarf to get, what do we call that? A West African Boer. Maybe that's the name, WAP. We get a West African Boer. But most of the time, our West African goats, as you can see, are very tiny. So they are very small, and if you can compare it with the Boer goat that you're using for breeding, are very big. We tried it at our farm once where we tried to do this crossing, and it did not work because the male was too big for the female, so he couldn't climb it. Now that takes us to the next step, which is step number 2. How do we breed this most efficiently? And that's by doing what we call artificial insemination. So AI, not artificial intelligence, but artificial insemination. What does artificial insemination mean, or what is it all about? So artificial insemination, so just maybe before I define it, I want to go back again and remind you why it is important. So number 1, because these guys are too big for our guys here, right, it's not possible. So we have no option than to do AI. If you go to Kenya, and the Nubians are bigger than the West African dwarfs, so they are able to do it. If you're lucky and you go to Niger, they have some brownish Kalahari-like goats. They seems to be much bigger. Maybe that the natural crossing can work, but so far what we have here in West Africa is very, you know, from my point, I would say it doesn't work because I tried and it didn't. If you've tried and it worked, please comment in the session. Obviously, I don't have the biggest West African dwarf, but from my experience, that's the conclusion I'm drawing. Maybe you have a bigger West African that can work, let me know. But it doesn't work, so we go into AI. Number 2, why do we need AI? You might want a Boer goat, a genetic that is very supreme, but that genetic will cost you more than even $3,000. If you go even in South Africa or anywhere you go, even at the farms, the farmers will buy breeding stocks more than 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, right? So this price is not just because of Ghana or anywhere. Even them themselves, they buy it very expensive when the genetic is quality. So there is a genetic you want to introduce into your breed. And because you don't have that money, you can buy the semen of that genetic and be able to use it to cross this. So for genetic improvement, you also go with AI because you can buy the live animal. Thirdly, bringing the live animal or even buying them costs money. You have to feed them, their health, you know, all those things, labor, it will cost you a lot of money. But if you do AI, you're only dealing with the semen, which doesn't cost you as much money as keeping the live animal, right? So those are the 3 reasons I'm going to give it to you now why you should test, or we are considering AI, or the benefits of AI. So now let's come into the AI itself. What is it? So number 1, you have a Boer goat, male at this point, right? What you do is, or what we do here at the farm is we take that male and we tap the male semen. So once you tap that male semen, I think the highest we've gotten here is 3 mil per each tap. So mostly you can tap maybe twice or 3 times a day. Each semen is maybe 3 mil. So that semen has about 6 million cells inside it. So with that, you can be able to use it to cross a lot of animals, right? Again, you can also freeze that semen, right? And then be able to use it over the years, even when the animal dies or you loses the animal. So we tap that semen, and then once the semen comes out and is stored, we will now take the semen and put that semen into a West African dwarf. This technology allows us to put the semen directly without these Boer goats having to cross it naturally, right? So it doesn't matter the size of these goats, this West African dwarf is still able to get pregnant by a Boer goat, right? So that is what we're doing here at Sementia Farm. So this West African dwarf will now give birth to a kid. And that kid is going to be 50% Boa and 50% West African dwarf. What we are hoping is that now an average birth of a West African dwarf kid is 0.3. That's what we've been recording at our farm. An average birth of a Boa goat now is, I think, about, say, 4.5. We've had 5 and above and all that, but I'll say 4.5 is the average birth. So now the goal here is, how do we increase this towards this direction so that our goats can also get bigger? And that is why we are bringing in these foreign goats to cross our local ones, so that these guys will add weight to this one. Now, when this guy gives birth, we have 50-50. So now we're looking at nothing less than at least 1.0 as an average weight. If we are lucky, maybe we get more, or maybe we get closer to 3. Who knows, right? But then we start increasing. So if I'm selling this kind of goat, this kid, to you, and this Boa goat costs maybe 1,000, 200, 500, 3,000, whatever it is, the price at least will be half the cost of this. So now we are able to break this price into half, right? And over time, as we continue doing it, we will continue reducing the price. So that is what we are doing here. Number one, to make the goats affordable for you so that you can get it. Number two, to add value to our local goats. We all know our local goats are just too tiny, and that's why we are not commercially doing it. And therefore, if we can add weight to it and start growing it so that, you know, they become more attractive, more meatier, then we can start making that a commercial business, because prices are going to increase from there, because now you're buying what, a West African dwarf for maybe 1,500, 2,000 Ghana cedis, which is about what, $150, you know. So but that West African dwarf goat is about 25, 22 kg. If that, we can increase that weight to 30, 40, then the price will also increase, right? And you, the consumer, will also have more meat. So the higher you purchase, the higher the quantity or volume of meat you're gonna get. So it's a win-win for all of us, but we have to change that. We can't continue doing the same thing over and over. I'm not sure who brought West African dwarfs to Ghana, but I've been here more than I was born, and nothing has changed around them. Still the same thing, it's still crossbreeded. So we believe that with this technology, we will be able to break through and add some innovation, make the price down, increase weight, and, you know, provide more food for us. So let me know if you have any question below. This is what we are doing at the farm. At the moment, we have artificially inseminated 2 goats. We have conceived pregnancy. And in my next video update that I'll bring to you, I'm gonna show you guys exactly the kind of goat that we've done and when we're expecting to have results from them and how it's going. So today was to open you up to the 2 systems of breeding and why we are not doing natural, we're doing artificial, why we are doing it, what are the benefits of it, and then at the end of the day, what is the expectation. Obviously, there are challenges, there are fears. We have now confirmed pregnancy, so that means that the skill set of doing artificial insemination has been successful right here in Ghana at our farm. 2, are the goats going to be able to even carry that baby till their delivery time? That is something that we are waiting upon. And then 3, during their delivery time, will they need further assistance or will they be able to deliver naturally? Those are questions on our minds that we all wait or hope to, you know, to answer at the end of the day. So stay tuned if you want to know more about how the AI experiment is going here in Ghana, in West Africa, at Sementia Learning and Development Farm. So in my next video, I'll definitely be giving you more updates about this. So follow us, hit the subscription button if you haven't done so, so that you can see any video that we bring to you about. Stay tuned and I'll bring you the next update soon.